Hello, Kathy Vic Deeply Awake. Well, we just did a very beautiful, complex, and startlingly honest channeling. Beautifully done. Funny. It was recording, and yet it didn't take. First time ever. Well, isn't that pretty? Is it possible for you to look at the bumps in your life like that? Oh, hey, I have this big pain in the ass inconvenience happening. It's making me run around and submit myself to stuff I don't like. It's moving me along and making me do stuff I didn't want to do ever. Isn't it pretty? Well, sometimes it doesn't feel very pretty, we say. But we want to bring the old one through. We have been discussing fractal realities, and we wish to talk briefly about how it's built. Okay, you know, in the New Age community, it's often said, well, you get a lot of tests in this reality. And this one, before you, she would say, oh, I gave myself a test, and she could hear celebrating when she behaved in a way that was beneficial somehow to all, and she was listening to higher guidance during that time. Well, then we would all go, whee! And she could feel us celebrating her successes. Well, we would say it's not quite so linear. We would suggest instead that reality is indeed fractal. This means that there are certain tones or certain experiences, desires of the soul to experience, that will then play out in many different forms. Some repeat and repeat and repeat. But we would say that many things do that. Sometimes in tandem, and sometimes, well, oftentimes, always, in quite stunning mathematical progressions. So there comes a time when fractals go whoop, and there is a change, moving on to something else. In consciousness, this change, the end of one fractal, beginning of another, end of one cycle, beginning of another cycle of fractals. Well, this may actually change the entire tone of the endeavor, the soul. The whole song may sing a bit differently. We're saying the core, we're saying the part that is multidimensionally aware of itself. Although we say it's more of just an increase, with then more choice available for expression within certain areas which are pleasurable and are helpful for self and others. So, this I know sounds very advanced and abstract, so let's talk about painting, shall we? We are painting a fractal pretty picture, and it's accelerating in its beauty as we paint. But the thing is that we are using canvas that is about as big as a warehouse wall, and we're doing it with one paintbrush, but with 7 color. And the paintbrush is very big. It's heavy, and it's wide, and it's thick, and it's heavy. And it drips with primary color. And this is what the fractals are being painted with. And so, paint, paint, paint. Perhaps the palette has grey, black and white and stuff like that. It's possible. Perhaps black, white, grey and one color. Sure, why not? Yeah. It's an expression of the soul, how much the soul wants to come through, how much light, color, things like that wants to express. It's an expression. So then one day things begin to change, and the paintings become a bit chaotic, and it's kind of weird, and they begin to shapeshift a little bit, and it's kind of unclear what the hell is going on. This goes on and on and on, and it's just a fractal, so you got to keep doing it. So the canvas keeps showing up, and you keep painting. And then one day it dawns on you that you are no longer doing fractals in these colors. What happened here? Because before you is a painting. It has the same design, and yet it is being expressed with colors you've never seen before. They're beautiful. They're all complementary, and they all seem to be referencing other things. It's just such a lush thing to even look at. It's like a sensual bath to even take a look at this painting. You can even smell it and taste it. Funny. You look down at your hand, and in your hand is a paintbrush, but it's not heavy. It's well, it's more compact, and it's quite beautiful. It's kind of glittery, and it's dripping with paint that seems to be morphing. It just changes from one color to another, and there's many colors in there, but they don't bleed or blend or turn muddy. They just are all themselves, and yet together they're just beautiful, and they're all the same kind of paint, and what the heck? And then someone comes up to you and says, hey, these are really cool paintings. I see you must have gone through a primary color phase, just like Picasso. Yes, I love to paint. It's so much fun. But look at this. I just noticed this paintbrush. It's so weird. I don't know what I'm doing here. It's just, I feel all funny all of a sudden. I mean, I see how I went, but I don't know how I did it. What the heck? And the guy who's liking the painting says, hey, this is magic paint. Haven't you heard of magic paint? What do you mean magic paint? Always covered in paint before. Old overalls. Ugh. But no, I mean summer dress. And what do you mean magic paint? Yeah, right, girlie. And he says, yeah, it's all over town, doofus. There's this new paint, and it's really good to have a brush that's kind of precision, that kind of does what you want it to. It's awesome if you get one of those, and look at, you got one of the best. Holy God, look at that brand. Damn, who's your supplier? And you put the paint on and see, it just does its thing. It does whatever you want it to do. What do you want? Yes, but they're fractals, so I'm kind of stuck with whatever it wants to do. No, it's not like that no more. The magic paint does funny things to the fractals, so they can, yeah, you might see them, but they're all beautiful, and you get to play with them a little bit more. There's more sense and more coherence in the patterning, and there's more movement. That's what I see when I look at these. That's why I go around and look at everybody's. Don't you know there's others going on all over? This isn't the only warehouse. Hey, You know, there's little a canvas. You don't need the big canvas now. You can have a little one, and it'll be like walking into a world. What do you think of that? You can go anywhere with it. You want to do that? Because I know somebody who does it. They write down. Well, they used to be in a warehouse like this, yeah, but not anymore. They sell their paintings, and they're quite famous, actually. Want to come look? Still relatively undiscovered. Maybe they'll take you in, teach you a couple of things. It's clear you got the gift. Let's go. Like that. Magic is afoot, we say. And fractal reality, well, we would say it's not a prison. Far from it. And it easily reconciled and understood as a beautiful expression, a metaphor for things unlanguageable. And unknowable, but spoken all around you. And what your cell is made of. So, fractal reality. We do want the old one to come through. It takes a minute to warm him up, actually to warm the one before you up. So, we wanted to tell you this because the fractal realities are indeed, for many, are closing. This is what some people talk about, merging timelines. It's when fractal realities are escalating or whatever, and then there's a time of, well, look at the fractal tape, you'll see a time of stop and a new reality. We would also say that there's a better example looking at cymatics going from one frequency to another. And it can be amplified under microscope with the water and light, where a pattern on the cymatic sea goes from being a simple one, and then the frequency goes up on the sound plate, and then a more complex pattern becomes evident, and then the sound waves go higher, and another pattern emerges from the sand that's already on a simple plate of metal that is vibrated with sound waves. And so this would indicate that there is a shift, a time of going from one to another. Sure, yes, okay. And then what the new one is came from what was, and it's a further expression of, which implies pristine simplicity while maintaining pristine complexity. And this moment of this is also the moment of sleep to wake, of vibrating in between, and then a new expression, and then perhaps this expression experiences reality fractally. So is the fractal that was prior to the still in force, still in play, still the law of the land? No, it's no longer the expression. Now there is a different reality with a different expression. This is what we're trying to get across. We hope we've done so. adequately long. It's a little bit complicated, but well worth it for those who are interested in the physics of consciousness and fractal realities. It's not for the average Joe. But those who wish to come along this wonderful Sunday morning, ooh, we love you best, because you like the science and stuff like that, and so do we. It makes us so happy. Okay, so we're going to let the ancient one come out now, and we love you so much, and it's so much fun to be with you and to talk high physics and great love. Namaste.